Hello, welcome to another edition of Lindsay Walton, Professional Team Builder. Welcome to my personal sandbox, my YouTube channel where I geek out about all things facilitation because it makes me happy. And so here's my jar of topics and we're going to find out what this video is going to be about. So today we are talking about exponential learning. Exponential learning is a skill that I think is incredibly valuable to anybody, but especially to facilitators. And here's what I mean by that. When you teach something, so essentially if you were to say what is the difference between teaching, instructing, facilitating, if you were to say teaching, usually what I mean by that is I say something and if you can repeat that back to me, then I have taught you. So if I can tell you that your heart and lungs are best friends, when one's working, the other one's working, when one stops, the other one stops, I'm telling you that in a first aid class. If you can then say back to me, oh yeah, the heart and lungs are best friends. Okay, great, I taught you something, that's awesome. But the problem is that often people go into regurgitation mode. Regurgitation means that they took in a single piece of information and then when asked to barf that information back up, they're capable of doing it. It happens on tests all the time. You see it in classes all the time. I taught you this and oh, you want it back? Bleh, and there it is. If somebody can take in information and regurgitate it on command, then good. Like it's good that they've learned something, but there was a huge missed opportunity. I am not really a huge fan of regurgitative learning. I love exponential learning, and I think the main thing that we need to step from one to the other, being a regurgitative learner to being an exponential learner, is just a change in mindset. So rather than going, okay, did I get it right, and bleh, here's what you wanted to hear, be excited about the fact that the world is a really big place. There is so much variety, so much to learn. Be a lifelong learner and be willing to make connections. Take mental risks, and here's what I mean by that. Chew over thoughts and let your brain wander in new directions. Ask questions and see, can you find any connections, applications for what seemed like two completely unrelated pieces of information? Because I could regurgitate this one fact and I could regurgitate this one other fact, but with their powers combined, maybe this whole new idea surfaces. And I'll just share one example, something that's really benefited me as a facilitator, and that's that I stumbled across somebody who was a dog breeder and dog trainer. And just, during a program, during lunch, we got chatting, and she was talking about, oh, do you know why it's such a bad idea to take puppies away from their mother too young? And I have heard that many times, but everything that I've ever heard about that was that you don't take them away because they need mother's milk. Like, to develop properly, they need to stay with their mom for a certain amount of time so they can grow strong, and then they can be sent to their new forever family. And she was saying, no, that's a common misperception. Instead, the reason a puppy needs to stay with their mother for a certain period of time is that it helps to establish their behavior. They stay with their pack, they stay with their litter, and they learn behavior modification, behavior control. So what'll happen is a puppy will bite mom, and mom will, pop up and run away or give them a little whack or a nip back. Puppies end up learning how they interact with mom. This works, and oh, that didn't go well, so don't do that again. And it's the same thing with their siblings. They step on them and chew each other's ears and claw each other, and they do something to a sibling and their sibling yelps. They learn from that, but then when the sibling does it back to them and they yelp, then oh, maybe I shouldn't do that. And she was just expanding on the idea, and just so you know, I've never owned a dog in my life, so I'm totally taking her word for it. I'm a cat person. Okay, wow, that does make so much sense to me. Okay, you've got puppies that are learning from each other, and she was saying that if they don't have that opportunity, if they are taken away from their mother or from their litter too early, then those dogs are at a much higher risk of being ones that bite or that scratch or that jump up, who don't understand that their behaviors hurt other people or other animals, and so they don't modify appropriately. And here I am eating my lunch, learning all this stuff about dog breeding. And I found that fascinating because in the back of my brain, this was sounding very familiar. The idea of, doing something, getting a yelp, having to learn, oh, maybe I shouldn't do that. That sounds a lot like a lot of my team building programs. Times when somebody is having to learn, okay, well, when I say things like that, when I do things like that, my peers don't really like that. And just seeing that, people are all over the place. Some people have excellent behavior modification, not meaning that they're being fake, but instead, they do something and they're very receptive to the feedback. They're paying attention. And so they're able to course adjust as they need to have appropriate interactions with their team members. And other people just oblivious, like there's no tomorrow. They think the world is out to get them, like their human rights have been violated because they were being a jerk, and other people just weren't responding positively to that for some reason. In those scenarios where I had a participant who just somehow, however they got to that point as a youth, teenager, young adult, I've seen it in people in their 50s and 60s, okay? So people who just were not getting it. Your behavior is not okay. Other people are not responding positively to what you're doing. I used to, earlier in my facilitation career, step in and go, just try to provide more direct feedback or help to facilitate conversation, to help with course correcting that behavior. And just, I ended up having this light bulb moment one day listening to this woman talking about dog breeding. I was going, oh my goodness, maybe I need to just let the puppies sort it out. And I'm not equating people to dogs. Don't take that away from what I'm saying. Instead, just this exponential learning moment happened where talking to somebody about dog breeding and my realm of facilitation, and just knowing I've got this challenge that surfaces, regularly in my career of people just not getting it and engaging in destructive team behavior. Instead of me trying to correct that, oh my goodness, what if I let the puppies sort it out? And so I ended up applying that, and all of a sudden, huge breakthroughs, where we were having good or strong breakthroughs before. When I let the puppies sort it out, when I let the teams argue, when I let somebody snap back at them, as long as it was not destructive, you can have constructive outbursts, constructive anger. If that person actually dealt with the fact that they said something and a team member snapped at them, there's feedback. And I was actually watching their behavior change more than if I had said something. So exponential learning, that is just one little spot where two completely unconnected things all of a sudden came together to create this amazing breakthrough in my career that ended up creating breakthroughs for my teams. That's one example. I can just picture this mental image then of all of the learning that I've done in my lifetime. I'm so grateful that I was taught to be an exponential learner. Oh my goodness, I have so many resources to draw on for creativity, for growth, for professional development. And it just means that every single conversations, every interaction, every book I read or YouTube video that I watch is opportunity not just to learn one thing that book was trying to tell me, that one thing that YouTube video was trying to tell me, but instead every learning opportunity becomes an opportunity to learn 2 things, 10 things, 100 things, all from that single interaction. So exponential learning, allow for random connections, allow for random questions. You personally will grow exponentially. As a facilitator, there's opportunity to grow exponentially. And so those are my thoughts on exponential learning. I hope they're helpful for you. Having said that, just if you find any value in this video, please like, share, subscribe. Be sure to follow along on the channel. Be sure to subscribe so you know when new videos are coming out. And do you have comments? Do you have thoughts on exponential learning versus regurgitative learning? Put your thoughts in the comments. I'd love to see what you're thinking. And to go along with that, if you have questions about this topic or about other topics related to facilitation, put them in the comments, because I'd love to make more videos to respond to that, or I'd love to write it out and put it in the jar. And so, yeah, just really looking forward to hearing from more of the people out there. I'm looking for people who love facilitation, who want to share their ideas, or who want to learn more about it. So if that's you, then I'm really looking forward to connecting more. I hope you have a great day. All the best. Bye.